Yeah, hi. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering if you could put me through. I know I've just paid the account. I just think while I'm on the phone, would you mind just putting me through to your employment department? Oh, I just thought, I could. Yeah, okay. Oh, hello, my name's Mandy Nolan. I'm just wondering if I could have a job at Telstra. Okay, put in an application. All right, I'll do that. And then, can you notify Centrelink? I will notify Centrelink. Thank you very much. Bye. That's what you're going to have to do soon on New Start, because you're going to have to be applying for. Well, apparently, this is the proposal. And whether or not it gets through, who knows? But if it does, 40 jobs a month if you're on New Start. Because everyone knows, what an incredibly affluent time you have on New Start anyway. I mean, for a single person, you're living on $225.25 a week. I mean, once you've paid your rent, electricity, which probably comes to about $200, you've got $25.25 to just, whoop it up, living off the taxpayer. What a bloody parasite with your $25.25 a week. I mean, oh, hang on. You do have to buy food with that, don't you? And actually probably get, like a telephone. How can you get a job if you can't even afford a phone? And then you probably need to have some sort of computer or access to something like that, but you wouldn't be able to have that. I mean, you'd be flat out having a pair of pants, let alone, affording 40 stamps a week. I mean, 40 stamps a week, a month. 40 stamps a month, I think it's about $28 a month. So out of that budget, it's going to be, that's just for the stamp, not if it's an oversized letter. You could be looking at well over $30 a month just in postage alone to maintain your eligibility criteria to get your below the poverty line subsistence wage. Sometimes I think that the Liberal government has actually, I think they've actually taken this whole kind of, dehumanisation and sort of degradation of, our most kind of underprivileged people, to a whole new level of excellence that we've never seen before. I mean, they are really kicking some goals when it comes to harming, the most disenfranchised people in our community. I mean, I suppose you think, what do you do once you've actually, imprisoned children, in detention centres and sold off boatloads of refugees for cricket bats? I mean, when you've done that, what do you do after that? When you've left, who are you going to kick next? And I think when you're sitting around in the clubhouse having your scotch and having your cigars, Julie could be outside. She couldn't be allowed in because it's a men's clubhouse. Anyway, she'd be doing the dishes. Anyway, what do you do? And I think what you do is clearly they've got together and they've said, let's have a go. Yeah, the unemployed, because that's the next lot. No one cares about the unemployed. They're like our version of refugees. We don't give a shit about them. Let's just get them. After a couple of scotches, they've gone, okay, what about 40 jobs a month? And they've all pissed themselves laughing because they know the figures out there. They're doing the budget, they're crunching the numbers and hiding the real figures. They know in last May, I think there was 146,000 jobs on the market. And there's something like 720,000 people who work on New Start unemployed. Now, these are just people unemployed. That doesn't count the underemployed people. Underemployed people are people that have, usually 1 hour of work a week, because that's not counted in the unemployment figures, but these people are still on New Start. So that's another 920,000 people. So you're looking at about 1,600,000 people or thereabouts having to apply for 146,000 jobs. That still leaves a pretty impressive deficit. There'll be someone ringing me for a job now, no doubt. But that leaves a pretty impressive deficit. That's going to drive me nuts. I'll have to get it because it could be Telstra. Just a minute. No. No. No, unless it's actually a management position, I'm not actually interested. All right, thanks. Yeah, why don't you fuck off too? Sorry. Don't want to work for them. But, that is that thing. I actually think that is one of the sort of, the greatest thing that still leaves 1.4 million people without a job. I mean, you can apply for jobs, but we all know that if you can apply for a job, it's not going to create a job that's there. In fact, it's created a bit of an outcry, of course, in the community. And the only one the government will listen to is the business sector, because they're going, you can't do this because this is going to drown us in a whole bunch of paperwork of people applying. We're going to have this inundation of job applicants that are meaningless and that for no jobs that don't exist, just to satisfy your ridiculous criteria, you're going to render us inactive. So I actually worked out it was going to be something like, if you work out, if that's for the average job seeker, you know, who's probably been unemployed a while, if you aren't humiliated enough by your state, that's 480 rejection letters a year. And that's going to crush a person's spirit after a while, isn't it? So if you kind of times 480 sort of, you know, rejection letters a year by at least 1 million people, that's around 480 million rejection letters plus needing to be sent out from businesses all around the country. So I think what we could do, because this could actually open up a whole new opportunity, because, you know, I know clearly, you know, this has created a job in the market. Now, the job in the market is going to be, all these businesses are going to have someone employed, like maybe 100,000 people will need to be employed into the job of actually taking in the applications and sending back rejection letters. And that, in a sense, the rejecting of applications for jobs that don't exist could become a job. Which is, you know, amazing when it comes to how forward-thinking this government is in creating new positions that weren't there before. I mean, what a fulfilling job that would be out there. You know, it is, you know, kind of full. And I often think, you know, I don't know, you know, when you actually look at 40 jobs, I don't know the last time somebody who actually works in Parliament actually applied for a job that they didn't brown nose their way to get. I mean, I don't know when they sat down, you know, it can actually take, if you want to do like a decent, well-prepared application, can sometimes take up to a week to put together. I mean, it's not something you just whoop off. As if you're really putting a serious amount of work into it, that's a lot of work. I mean, you know, that's very different. So I thought, okay, you know, I actually think I have a really great idea for a little bit of a public action. So what you could actually do is, I think it's time we actually applied for work in Canberra. So anyone out there who actually is in this position, I think if you do have to do 40 jobs a month or even 20 jobs a month, I would actually make at least some of them, if not all of them, send them to the Minister for Employment, Eric Abbott, and actually ask for jobs. You might be able to get jobs in Canberra, and he might be able to, I don't know, he might be able to drive his car, ask for a job, cleaning his office, maybe going to have a job writing his ministerial portfolio. There's a whole lot of jobs you could get in Canberra with Eric, the Minister, Eric Abbott, Minister for Employment, and the address is MG68 Ministerial Wing, Parliament House, ACT 2600. And I just actually think it's a good idea. I've actually applied for the job as Prime Minister because clearly, from what I can tell, they let any idiot do it. So, you know, the good thing about this is, you know what happens? You send this to a minister. When you write to a minister, they have to send you a reply. So, anyway, if anyone's going to drown in paperwork, don't do it to your local businesses. Do it to the fuckwits in Canberra. There you go. I'm not even unemployed or on Youth Start, but I'm going to start doing this too. See you next week. Whoever thought that Australia Post could be a subversive way to undermine stupid policy?